welcome to a brand new episode of the Jedi Way here on the John Rocha channel. I am John Rocha, joined as always by these two wonderful gentlemen. I am occasionally known as Rocha Fett, and today I'm happy to be we're back to talk Star Wars with these two wonderful gentlemen. First up, of course, my brother from another mother and my man who is blowing up on TikTok with his Stova stuff, and that is the great Kevin Smets, the Smasher himself, celebrating 7 years since he was stomping around the Schmodown. How are you, Kevin?
Yeah, I saw that pop up on my timeline. That seems like yesterday. That was that first day recording in February. I'm a little sick, so shockingly, you might not hear as much from me this week. I'll be a little less quiet. You guys have free reign for your bullshit takes that aren't as solid as mine. Just kidding.
Or as long-winded, that's for sure. And joining us, of course,
sure. I just heard that. I'll take that.
The third member of our team was recently come on permanently. We're very happy to have him back again for this conversation. That is Frankie Numbers, Frank Janisch. How are you, Frank?
I'm doing real well. I'm a little perturbed by my Chicago Bear news about Mike moving to Indiana. I won't get into it, but it'll be okay. But glad to be back here with you guys, and then let's talk some Star Wars.
I saw someone post a video of the Bears fans leaving a game from Indiana. It's like cars smashing into windows. Is Indiana a bad place? I thought it was a very chill place. I don't know. The Midwest.
They call it the region, Northwest Indiana, and I never really spent that much time there. I have driven through there, but you drive. It's a place you just drive through.
Are they going to call them the Indiana Bears then?
Yeah, will it be the Indiana Bears?
No, I don't. I'll never call them that. So.
It's life. It's crazy. But we got so much to get into here. Star Wars related, not NFL related for sure. That's including talking about that Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, talking about some comments from Soderbergh about the hunt for Ben Solo. Is it not happening? Is it happening? What's the deal there with that? We're going to get into some of the recent interview that Tony Gilroy had, talking about his experiences making Andor. This is an interview that came out as we're recording this today, and with the Hollywood Reporter. We'll touch on some of the quotes from there, and we'll also get into some Star Wars racer stuff. So just sit back, relax, have some fun with us here as we get into everything that's going on in the world of Star Wars. So let's start off here. As I mentioned here, just right off the bat, gentlemen, the interview. Tony Gilroy gave an interview to the Hollywood Reporter talking about his experiences with Andor, his experiences with Star Wars, and it is a pretty in-depth interview where Tony gets real knee-deep into his political points of views here with Andor and comparing it to what's going on in our world today. Brian Davids did the interview, but there were some quotes that stood out that I think we should talk about here on the show. I'm going to bring them up on the screen so we can all look at them together, including the people who are watching us right now. And he was asked about Kathleen Kennedy's. The Kathleen Kennedy's left the Lucasfilm building. You've stated many times that Andor's success wouldn't have been possible without her backing her play economically and creatively. The obvious takeaway here is that there's an appetite for Star Wars to be bold, but based on Kathy's exit interview with Deadline, the studio seems hesitant to take on riskier projects she championed, including one from your friend Steven Soderbergh, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and another from your Andor writer Bo Willimont and James Mangold. Will you be disappointed if Andor doesn't yield more mature stories and is forever the outlier in the Star Wars catalog? And he said, disappointed would be too strong a word. What would I feel? I don't know. I'm not an investor. I don't have the responsibility. I don't have that portfolio on my desk. I don't know how I would behave if it was my ass on the line and there's X amount of money. The problem is there's no inexpensive way to do these shows or movies. I'm watching the Game of Thrones spinoff now, the low-key, lo-fi one, Night of Seven Kingdoms. It's very refreshing that it's so nice and it's nice down there. But I don't know what it would be like to make those decisions, and I don't know if I'd be disappointed if Andor is a creative outlier. If I was going to do that job, I'd rather go down swinging. I'd rather go down in flames. As low risk as my life is, my creative life is pretty high risk, so I'd like to swing away. Safety has never been one of my navigational principles, but disappointed, it doesn't matter to me what they do. I wish them luck. I really do. Kevin, it's a very strong set of words there from Tony Gilroy. We'll get into his other quote about Filoni here in a second, but your thoughts on this? And essentially, is he saying he's never going to do Star Wars anymore? Like, this sounds like that's what he's essentially saying.
There's no inexpensive way to do a Star Wars show. Just see the Obi-Wan show where they shut from the volume.
Looks and cost are two different things.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't they say like the whole budget for the Obi-Wan show was like equal to like 3 episodes of Andor or something crazy?
Probably.
Yeah, it was something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just saying all the right things. Like, he doesn't want to like step on toes, but I think he does hope that, I think that it's funny. He says united the seven kingdoms. Like, I think that might jumpstart other people, jumpstart and hopefully get people to maybe make a couple more risks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like outside the box thinking, because a lot of people thought that wouldn't work. Like, especially like coming off, a lot of people didn't like season 2 of House of the Dragon. I did, and a lot of people obviously didn't like the final season of Game of Thrones, but they still were able to make this show, and everybody's loving it, right? And it's different. It's not quite the same. So, as far as what he says, yeah, he's not the one cashing the checks or responsible for all of that. So it's easy for him to say it, but I don't think he's going to return to a galaxy far, far away from those comments. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Kevin. Sorry, Frank. It sounds like he's saying, in essence, that Star Wars is playing it safe now. They're invested in playing it safe now, and that if he was to come back, it would have to be in a state of Star Wars wanting to take chances and risks. What are your thoughts on his response to this comment? To this question, rather, in THR?
I think the fact that he lays out, if they're willing to take risks again, I think says he doesn't think they're going to be doing that anytime soon. And I agree, especially, with Filoni and that whole leadership change going on now after post Kathleen Kennedy. So it is pretty easy to say, all these things because, and while I still think it's true, but it's also easy to say because he's probably never gonna create in Star Wars again. I would actually bet money on that. I would bet money on that. But
wow,
because I think he set out to do what he set out to do in Andor, and he executed it flawlessly. It's kind of like just that fadeaway jumper and game over. I go out on top kind of thing. And unless he has another thing he wants to tell, I'm not sure that he does because. As he said before, he's not like the biggest Star Wars fan. Yeah. So I don't know that if he has a story to tell, he needs to do it in a Star Wars universe. He can do whatever he wants. So, I appreciate his words and what he's given to Star Wars, but I think that's this is probably what we're gonna get from him.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing when you look at it because he says, I'd rather go down swinging, I'd rather go down in flames. And so he's essentially kind of low-key saying that Star Wars is not in that place right now. And look, you could argue they should be. You could argue they shouldn't be. You look at the situation, it is what it is now. They want to play it safe. They're bringing back the original trilogy music. They're bringing back the original trilogy characters. Kathleen Kennedy is being moved on. So it's very clear that Filoni is going to supposedly bring back that George Lucas energy with Lin-Manuel Brennan. It seems like they're going to try to recapture the magic of the first 6 movies that came out and stay in that kind of area and approach. And so whereas Gilroy makes it clear, if you read the whole interview, it's really clear what he saw Andor as a reflection. I think Star Wars is super afraid right now of what's going on in our world, especially with the administration now, to take chances that'll veer close to something like that. Again, this is what makes Andor so much more of an anomaly now, listening to these responses or reading these responses from Gilroy, that it is really kind of a one-off miracle that this ever got pulled off for 2 seasons the way it did. And if you connect up Rogue One, a movie as well, in telling this story about, as he says it, about fascism and about the evil empire and how to push back on that, it's even more of a miracle that they got this thing done. Because it does sound to me, when you say like, it doesn't matter to me what they do, I wish them luck, I really do. Yeah. That's the end of a breakup. That's the breakup where you don't want to go back to that situation. So it's very interesting to hear those words from him. But he had something to say about Filoni as well. Let's move on to that comment here. Let's read that together as well. Dave Filoni is now co-writing Lucasfilm with Lin-Manuel Brennan. He's a George Lucas protege who's known for being a Star Wars purist. I asked him a few years ago what he thought of Andor, and he had nothing but praise for your work. Adjectives like brilliant, fantastic, and great were used. However, The Wrap recently reported, and that's my brother, Drew Taylor, reported that he wasn't a fan of Andor, something Lucasfilm immediately denied. Not immediately. It took him a few hours. Did you ever sense any creative or philosophical disagreement from Filoni? And Gilroy says no. We've only met a couple of times, and we've only had a half dozen conversations over the last 10 years. Seriously, I saw Jon Favreau at a scoring session once. We've always gotten along with those guys, and we've never had anything but high praise for everything that we've done. We only have our show because of them, and we've always said that was true. There's no Andor without The Mandalorian. It would not exist. So it has never been anything but cordial and pleasant, ever, ever, ever. I don't know anything that you don't know. I really don't. Writers note the internet created a similar rivalry between Rian Johnson and JJ during the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Abrams recently hosted a Q&A for Johnson's new movie, Wake Up Dead Man. So, Kevin, how do you read these lines about Filoni from Gilroy here?
Well, I think it's funny that they've like talked a dozen. Like you'd think that they would have been way more incommunicado. Like,
yeah,
that's what pops into my head. And all the rumors that Filoni didn't like Andor. Like, I don't know. I'm maybe because I'm sick, but I'm reading the negative into that. Like, how do you have like a dozen conversations over the last 10 years? That's
half a dozen. Not even a dozen. Six.
So six. Yeah. Right. So I mean, that shows how little Filoni had power over that Andor show, and that also might be a reason why he doesn't like the show, or if that's true or whatever. But
yeah,
it leads me to believe that, you know, he's saying the right things. He's not going to burn any bridges, so maybe he would want to return one day. But I don't know. Like you say, like you have such a great outing with Andor. Why would you want to mess with that, especially in this day and age with hit and miss so much with Star Wars?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think about this, Frank? Do you read into this a little bit? Like they only talked a half a dozen times. He's only seen him a couple times. He saw John Favreau once at a scoring session. And he says that he's never had any kind of negative stuff with them. So do you take him at his word? And is this more kind of playing it safe overall? What do you take from this stuff?
I do take him at his word. I really do. Because from interviews I've read, past interviews I've read of Tony, he doesn't seem like the BS type of guy. He's just and then when it comes to whether or not, you know, he's seen Favreau and Filoni half a dozen times a scoring session here and there, that doesn't really surprise me because of the types of projects they were each working on. You know, Filoni and Favreau had much more collaborative relationship with the whole Mandoverse and all of that. Gilroy was in a completely different universe with Andor and everything that went with how they made Andor compared to how they made Mando and Ahsoka and all that. So it doesn't really surprise me that they wouldn't have seen each other a whole lot. Yeah. Filoni's not, you know, why would Tony Gilroy had his team of writers and himself and a specific vision.
Yeah.
And if Filoni doesn't really care for how Andor approached that era of Star Wars, well then, he's not really going to have a whole lot to say to Tony Gilroy. And also Tony Gilroy, as a writer, as a filmmaker, way more accomplished than Dave Filoni. So like on a story level, a time period level, sure, that could have been conversations I could see Filoni and Tony having, but again, completely different approaches how they with Star Wars and their storytelling. So I do believe him. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and maybe he is saying all the right things, but I think they just also probably happen to be true. It also actually really makes me rethink kind of the reporting on Filoni not liking Andor. I think maybe, you know, it's like, I don't know that like it's that big of a deal to Filoni that Andor was made like that. Yeah. Because he probably also knew that no one else is ever going to make this type of thing ever. It is what it is, and I'm doing my thing. It's what, you know, it's whatever. Everyone has that slice of Star Wars that they don't particularly care for or engage with, and this just happens to be Filoni's.
Yeah, I mean, like, listen, and listen, you know, former co-host on the show, Laura Kelly, was not the biggest fan of Andor either season. And had her own issues with it, even though she was, you know, gracious in her commentary and her approach to it. She wasn't the biggest fan of it. And you're right. So there's some of, like, I'm not an Ewoks person. I know people love it, worship it, plush them, sleep with Ewoks. It's not my jam. I feel nothing for them. But people like that kind of stuff. And I totally appreciate that. I'm not going to judge anybody for loving that kind of stuff. But Andor is my jam. And I love this. But I look at this situation and I'm kind of having a little bit more of a broader point of view on this. And that is, I do think it is weird that if Kathleen Kennedy is to be believed, this transition period with Filoni was for the last 2 years. And Filoni was the chief creative officer. So I'd be really surprised that he wasn't more involved in the meetings for Andor and all of this kind of stuff. But it may have been set up in a certain way where Filoni was not going to be able to have conversations with Gilroy or be involved in the process of it all. Because as you said, Frank, Gilroy is a much more accomplished filmmaker, and Kathleen Kennedy may have known that. And behind the scenes, it was made pretty clear that he wasn't going to take any of Filoni's notes or have any conversations with Filoni about the process or the direction of this kind of thing. Or even Kathleen Kennedy may have sensed that was the and kept Filoni away from him because she knows how Tony works, and it's best to not mix the things. And so all Filoni does is speak pretty much broad positive terms about it. And Tony Gilroy gets to say, all I ever heard was positive stuff, and it was nothing but cordial and pleasant. So it was clear that they weren't friends. They didn't hang out and have Star Wars conversations. It was cordial and pleasant. So very professional. It does not mean that Dave couldn't have said to people at Star Wars, I don't like Andor. It's not my cup of tea, blah, blah, blah. I can recognize its greatness, but I don't like it, right? Gone with the Wind. People love that fucking movie. I hate Gone with the Wind. It bores me to tears. But I get the greatness of.
Did you see Gone with the Wind special edition though? Like where he added?
They added more fire, I think. Didn't they add more fire?
Gone with the Wind redo. Gone with the Wind redo. Yeah, I saw that. But like this is the thing. So just because he doesn't like it doesn't mean, or doesn't think it's his version of Star Wars, does not necessarily mean that he hates this kind of stuff. So it's an interesting place to look at all. I think there's a lot of ways to take what he said, and you can go in numerous directions for it. But
if under like Filoni's leadership, they end up making something similar, not quite like Andor, but similar in tone or direction, then we have to revisit all of these reports if he doesn't like Andor. Well, if he does, have a project that's somewhat in a more adult feel to it, well, but also, tastes can change, and so it could happen maybe.
Yeah. And I think he's explored that. There are some shades of darkness in Clone Wars for sure.
There are definitely darker stuff,
right? So it's not like he would move away from it. I think there's elements, especially with the Maul character. There's a lot of dark stuff that happens with Maul throughout Clone Wars that I think.
Forget that when Anakin beats up that senator because he thinks the senator's banging Padme.
Oh yeah,
right.
Oh yeah, he's beating him up like with fists and stuff, and it's that Clone Wars Anakin angry face.
Yeah,
it's better than anything Hayden can do. It's like this, like just his pitched, like when they won't let him see Ahsoka when Ahsoka's arrested, and he's just looking at the guy. He has that like real Clone Wars like Murr face. Anyways, that's when Clone Wars gets dark, when he's beating the shit out of some poor senator, some Senate guy.
There's like deaths. There's all kinds of stuff that happens in Clone Wars that are pretty dark in how it all goes. So this idea that Filoni wants just touchy-feely, cuddly, squeeze my stuffed animal Star Wars is nonsense. It just might not be as dark as Gilroy, but that doesn't mean there isn't still darkness there to explore for Filoni. So we'll see. Like I said, if you want to read the whole interview, it is up on thr.com. It's pretty extensive. And as we said, we're not going to get into the political side of stuff, but there's a lot that Gilroy addresses politically about the connections between Andor and what's going on in our world today. So definitely explore that, and more Star Wars answers, including a little more in Andor about a possible mission that they would have loved to have shot but didn't have money for it with Bix and Cassian. So that's interesting to explore as well. All right, let's move on to some other topics here. Let's talk about this. Speaking of things that might or might not be happening, let's talk about the Soderbergh situation with this Hunt for Ben Solo film. A lot of people certainly have been talking about this. When Soderbergh has finally opened up about the film that was scrapped here at the Hunt for Ben Solo in a new interview with BK Mag, he said that it was, quote, no surprise to read the Kathleen Kennedy's Lucasfilm exit interview and hear about her frustrations over Disney's axing of The Rise of Skywalker. He said, we were all frustrated. That was 2.5 years of free work for me, Adam, and writer Rebecca Blunt. When Adam and I discussed him talking about it publicly, I said, look, do not editorialize or speculate about the why. Just say what happened, because we all know what happened. The stated reason was we don't think Ben Solo could be alive, and that was all we were told. And so there's nothing to do about it except to move on. I kind of made the movie in my head, though, and just felt bad that nobody else was going to see it. I thought the conversation was strictly going to be a practical one. Where do they go? What is this going to cost? And I had a really good answer for all of it. But it never even got to that point. It's insane. We're all very disappointed. Of course, this news broke in October of 2025. So, Frank, when you hear these comments, what are your thoughts here on what Soderbergh is saying? Because it sounds like he's still super pissed about this.
Yeah. Oh man, like the reason we don't think Ben Solo could be alive. Like, do these people not understand what universe we're operating in? First of all, you also can make the rules. You brought back Sidious after like 40 freaking years. Like, and you're telling me Ben Solo can't be like, we can figure, like, you can figure that out. And if Soderbergh's behind it, I believe he probably could have came up with an interesting universal, like an in-universe reason why that could be. And the fact that he is pissed just kind of says to me, I think he thought, he had a really great idea for a story.
Yeah.
And you got Adam, like, man, I don't know. What are we doing over there, man? Like, you got someone like Soderbergh, and he's got this great idea, and he's ready to talk, like, here's how much we can make it for. And you're like, yeah he's not alive. Like, what are we?
They cut Maul in half. Maul doesn't have a lower digestive system. How does he urinate? How does he digest his food?
He's got one of those things, probably.
Like, does he have a colostomy? Like I do?
Yeah.
Like,
well, let me add one more thing to this to get your thoughts, Kevin. He also said on Blue Sky, he wrote this on Blue Sky. Part of what he wrote here is also in the aftermath. There you go. Also in the aftermath of
I wrote on what was the other one? Everybody was joining. It looks like a bee. Hive.
Oh
yeah, Hive.
Oh,
yeah,
Hive. Everybody in the Schmodown joined Hive.
He said also in the aftermath of the Hunt for Ben Solo situation, I asked Kathleen Kennedy. This is Steven Soderbergh. I asked Kathleen Kennedy if Lucasfilm had ever turned in a finished movie script for green light to Disney and had it rejected. She said no. This was a first. This was a finished script.
Yeah.
Like, they paid this dude $3 million, Scott Z. Burns, to write this thing. And
I thought it was like volunteer, right? Wasn't it like
no, Soderbergh volunteered, but Scott Cooper got paid $3 million to write a script and finish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like something personal, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
That, like, first of all, the answer is just so lazy, and it's like so many people came back from Palps to Maul to you got people getting stabbed by lightsabers and living,
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I feel like it's a political thing. I saw this. I'm not sure how much credence it is. It's a tweet. It just says, from Star Wars Hall of Fame, Dave Filoni and Lin-Manuel Brennan could be possibly circling back to hunt for Ben Solo in the future. There's speculation that Bob Iger and Kathleen Kennedy's exits may give the movie a new window of opportunity. Look, I don't know if that's true or if there's any, but I will say this. They know what they're doing. They're pulling a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool.
Yeah, I was going to say Ryan
Reynolds. They are getting out there. They're doing what Snyder did. Snyder, it was a genius. He knew how to rile up those Snyder cultists, and he got what? Then during the pandemic, I was watching a 4-hour Snyder cut with black costume Superman. So I think they're going to will this movie to be made.
Really?
Yeah, and I do, and I think they, like, I know that there's some people that are like, no, stay away from the sequel trilogy. It's been a bust and it's a failure and stuff like that. But if they're gonna move on to this Rey thing too, or Rey's gonna be a Jedi Master, like, and you have Soderbergh, like, if you have a filmmaker wanting to do it now, look, a lot of pressure will be on them if the movie gets made and it sucks. Then it's like egg on their face, and maybe that's what Kathleen Kennedy saw. Maybe. As much, we talk about all of her wins and all of her losses, and what was she, a negative or positive? Maybe as excited as we are for all of this, like how everybody's been clamoring to see the Batgirl movie, but some execs, like Brendan Fraser, swears that it's the next coming of the Godfather, right? But then you hear from one exec's like, trust me, that movie was unwatchable. It was like TV level bad, like CW bad. So like maybe Kathleen Kennedy saw something we don't know with this script, right? But it wasn't her.
It was Iger that turned it down. It wasn't
Iger.
Kathleen. Yeah.
I'm saying if this is what you pay, this is what maybe Iger did something right in his. Yeah, apologies. Sorry, I'm sick. Yeah. But maybe Iger did something right and saw something and was nervous about it. But I'm so curious about what this. Like, if you had a choice to see either the original cut of Solo: A Star Wars Story by the brother, what are their names? The guys that did
Lord and Miller.
Lord and Miller. Would you rather see the first cut of their Solo movie or the Hunt for Ben Solo movie? What
Give me
would
the
you
first
want
cut
to
of
see?
Solo, dude. Give me the first cut of Solo. I want to see that so freaking bad. I want to see
Yeah,
that
that would be
so
amazing.
bad. That's not even a tough question.
I think there's three choices at play, right? Would you want to see the Gareth Edwards Rogue One before Gilroy came in and changed it? Because if you watch that original trailer, it is super fucking dark, that original trailer. So like you're like, well, what would that be like? Even though I don't think
I saw the creator, so I think I might.
Yeah, I'm with you, Frank. I didn't think Gareth Edwards was that great of a director overall, but like, you could be curious to see what he wanted to do with his version.
That would be a fun show, maybe to do one of these days on a slow news day. Is talk about like the great Duel of the Fates 2, which now you can see a lot of them are doing the AI scenes from that, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
This Hunt for Ben Solo movie, I think they know what they're doing. Ooh, I'm gonna cough. Okay. I think they know what they're doing, and I have a feeling this movie's gonna get made. I just have a feeling.
Yeah. Well, I think if Starfighter comes out and eats dirt, and Mandalorian and Grogu isn't that great, you got to get some wins, and so maybe the excitement of
rile up those Raylos, man.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They'll come out for that movie, easily.
I don't think there'd be a backlash to a Ben Solo film like there seems to be to a Rey film. So if you were to do that, that's a safe bet. And as Gilroy just told us, it's very clear that Star Wars is playing in safe territory right now, and I imagine this would be the one.
Just have Rian Johnson direct it. Everybody will be super stoked.
Oh God.
Soderbergh could have made this movie on his freaking iPhone. Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
It would have been something, yeah. But I like this. I like that Soderbergh is angry about it. Most directors, when they lose a project, especially when they're high level directors, they just go, "Yeah, it didn't work out. We wrote it, but it didn't work out." It sounds like Soderbergh's a little pissed about the whole situation
because he was kind of discarded. He was discarded away. It's not like he did, like they didn't even let him show him the financials. Like, you're not even giving me a chance. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting to see what if it does come back, because it's going to be a new person in charge of Disney with Josh D'Amaro, and then you've got, as I said, Filoni and Lin-Manuel Brennan. So do they reopen this to see if they can do something about it, or do they want to just stay away from all of that? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Mango movie gets canceled, if the Rey movie gets canceled, although maybe she's at the end of Starfighter, I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. And then the Kinberg trilogy kind of mixes this all up. So will we see Ben Solo return in the Kinberg trilogy? So maybe we don't see the Hunt for Ben Solo, but elements of that script appear in the Kinberg trilogy. That could be interesting as well down the road. All right, well, let's move on to this. Gentlemen, speaking of movies that are coming out, The Mandalorian and Grogu dropped its official trailer. I know it's been a few days, but we haven't done a show in a few days. So would love to get you guys' thoughts on this. We had so much happen in this trailer. Certainly some iconic shots that we've seen before in Star Wars. The Star Wars music as well. We got introduced to some of the characters. We got some Babu Frick mofos that are coming back. So there was so much here. And it looks like we're going to see Din get himself taken, and Grogu having to step up and use his powers to save him. Plus, we got ourselves a yoked and a jacked Ron the Hutt there. So your thoughts, Kevin, on this trailer?
Trailer looked good. I texted you guys like that was a trailer. Yeah. Not the Clydesdales thing, which I just thought was an utter joke. Like why were they doing that? But
Kevin, stay alive.
Yeah, sorry. I'll get through it. Yeah. But what I really liked about the trailer, and I know some people might not like this, but it gave me like Solo, a Star Wars story vibes. Like, and I like that movie. It just feels like an adventure. It feels like a slice of life adventure. Not the whole galaxy's not at stake right now. They're on this adventure. Lots of different creatures. Like, if you're talking, I remember during Andor, like, oh, there are not enough aliens or whatever. Like, there's aliens every frame of this thing. Different aliens, classic aliens. Yeah, that snake one looked cool. Those high heels that you saw there with the zipper.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going through Star Wars news. That's
you got Babu Frick's dad there probably, or his uncle, or I don't know, not that, but yeah, that's not Babu Frick's dad, but yeah, I thought that the variety of creatures and just shots are exciting. And the Hutts, I like the quote of the Hutts, like first you and then them or him, like that's good. Are those the same two Hutts from the Boba Fett show?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I like that continuity.
The facial markings are the same. Yeah,
and I love like the gangster vibe from it, right? And like that reminds me of that character that was like cut out. Remember, there was a lot of stills from The Force Awakens of a guy that had that like hat thing with big eyes. If fans will remember this, there's a lot of stills. I think the guy even had a name.
Yeah.
But then you have the Imperial remnants there, and you're helping jog my memories. You're scrolling through there, which I like. You have the Imperial remnants. The only thing that I just didn't hit for me is like enough with the same jokes. We've seen it all during the show, like the eating and the pressing the buttons. Like you got to come up with some new gags.
The cutesy stuff.
I mean, I don't mind that they're cutesy. I mean, is he on Dagobah there?
Yeah,
no, is he on Dagobah?
Or is he on we're going to Dagobah and Hoth. It seems like we're going to Dagobah and Hoth, doesn't it? I mean,
or at least, or that could be the planet that Luke was training him on too in the Boba Fett show. Are we going to get a cameo from Luke? I would venture maybe.
Yeah.
At some point, like because he's doing Jedi stuff there. Maybe he gets his ass kicked and has to go lick his wounds, and he's going to recover there and meditate to figure out how to save Din. And I do like that we get to see Pedro's face. So then, he's not just in the VO booth the whole time. He actually had to go to set. And so my overall thoughts, because I think I'm paying too much attention to the photos you're showing me. I thought that I only know the storyline because I've seen leaks about it, but no one else knows the storyline. And like, you got to have a banger of a trailer to set the stakes and the story of what this adventure is. Because now it's just another one of those things where it's kind of like what a lot of people were feeling after the Super Bowl trailer. It's like, don't worry, we got this. Like, just have some fun with this Clydesdale ad. And now, don't worry, we got this. Let's throw some more cute jokes in, some creatures and some epic shots, and you'll be fine. Now, I feel like people are going to want to know what the general storyline is, right? Like what's bringing these two together. So I mean, we're still kind of in teaser territory here. We need a trailer that's gonna kind of outline. I don't need to see everything. Just give the fans, because I kind of know based on my leaks or whatever, but I would like the fans to know what kind of story they're headed into, because to be honest, if it's what I've read is true, it's going to be pretty badass.
All right, Frank, your thoughts on the trailer? I know we had some text exchanges, but people didn't see our text exchanges. So your thoughts on the trailer and what you take away from it all these days later.
So I'll just start by saying I'm going to go see the movie. I'm going to go see it. I'm going to go see the movie. I have to.
Wow. Okay.
Here's what I would say. When I saw the trailer.
Look, I'm going to go out with her. You set me up on the date. I'm going to go.
And like, here's the, I like the Mandalorian show. I like it a lot. And I've liked all the seasons.
Okay.
I've had a great time with them. Even the stuff where it got a little more wacky or fun, I still had a great time with it. And so I'm still confident that I'm going to have a great time with this movie. But what I will say is it does seem like, hey, remember that season of Mando I wrote? Let me just make it into a movie. That's kind of the feeling I got, because it had very much the same feel, and which is not a bad thing, but I think when it comes to a theatrical release, I think I was maybe expecting maybe a little bit of a different type of feel, more cinematic feel. I didn't quite feel that from the images. While the images looked cool, I didn't quite get that feel. I guess I'm kind of comparing it to how the sequel trilogy looks on screen compared to how Mando and Grogu looked in the trailer. Maybe that's unfair, and maybe it'll look different once I see it on the big screen. So I'm reserving judgment on that. But also, like Kevin, you're right. I don't really know what it's about. Okay, another adventure with Mando and Grogu. They get split up. They got to find each other back. Like, is it those kinds of beats, but with just like a different coat of paint? I don't know. And so it didn't really do anything to get me hyped for the movie. It just let me know this movie is coming out, which I hadn't really seen on my timeline, on my social media. This did get into my feed on social medias. The Super Bowl spot did not. Like, I had to go seek that one out. But this one popped up, and I go, okay, this movie's coming out, on May, whatever it said. So I would like to see another trailer with some more story elements, but like they have me already, so I don't really know who this trailer was exactly for. I don't know. So
I would like to add real quick, Rocha, before you speak. If you take a still from like Empire Strikes Back or The Force Awakens and you compare it to a still from this, like, you're right. It's no question. This looks like they shot it using the same cameras, the same exact. It doesn't feel like a ballooned budget to be like. I'm thinking of like the Sex
like Power Rangers. Like
Sex and
the
the
TV
City
show
movie.
to the movie, like how that felt.
I like how
as
you
a
do
kid,
Power Rangers and I
that.
do Sex and the City, but that's probably because I'm married. You got the Sex and the City show, which was like, but then you did the Sex and the City movie, and you could just tell it's like, wow, this shot on like Super 35, or you know what I mean? Like you could just tell it had that gloss of like a theatrical release. This feels like it's going to be as if when you went to those Fandango or Fandom events where you were seeing the first 3 episodes of Andor in the theater or the first 3 episodes of The Mandalorian. Like this feels like kind of, dare I say it, TV movie style version of it. I don't think you're going to get this like CinemaScope feeling of like the theatrical movies. What do you think? Robert?
I have to agree. The aesthetic is very clear that they have not veered away from the Mandalorian and Grogu aesthetic that we saw on Disney Plus. I agree. It doesn't mean that they didn't spend a lot of money on the movie. I think it was 140 something million when you factor in the tax breaks from California. So $140 million is a lot to spend on a movie, right? So
definitely,
it's not a cheap movie by any shape. Even by today's standards, it's still not a cheap movie. So I think the money's there. The thing is that the story itself is deceptively not as epic as they think it is. And when you look at the trailer, I think they've done such a terrible job of rolling this trailer. I'm going to speak my truth here. I think they've done such a terrible job of rolling out this movie that this trailer is good by comparison. And I think this trailer is decent. I don't think it's great. I didn't walk away from this trailer going like, whoa, I can't wait to see this movie. I walked away from the trailer going, okay, this looks like it's going to be fun. And that's not what I want to feel when I see a trailer for a Star Wars movie, because I don't care how much you try to lower the expectations. This is a Star Wars theatrical movie. It is supposed to blow your socks off. That's what these films are supposed to do. You guys mentioned Sex and the City. You guys mentioned Power Rangers. I will throw Star Trek in here. You want to compare an episode of Star Trek to even the motion picture. The motion picture is gorgeous, especially the new 4K transfer. That looks nothing like the TV show. Wrath of Khan, made for much less, looks nothing like the TV show. There's that energy of it that feels elevated, and I don't feel that here. No matter how many shots of X-wings or Y-wings you put behind the Apocalypse Now sun, it still doesn't 100% convey the sense that we're getting a theatrical. It feels, yes, I don't want to say TV movie because I think that is, people see that as like, an ABC movie of the week or whatever, but for TV
direct
level
to streaming
that we have,
movie.
You're right. For the level of artistry that we've seen, and at times cinematic from the series, it is TV-esque in that way, in a Disney Plus TV-esque version. And I think that's not what you want here. So this trailer, I think, was released earlier than they wanted to because of the debacle of the Super Bowl spot. That being said, I still don't think the trailer got us to this place of like, oh, fuck, I got to be here and see this movie. Because a lot of people commented on my reaction that they were just going to wait for Disney Plus, and that is not what you want that reaction to be for a theatrical feature. So, yeah.
I will say,
go ahead.
I will say also, like I love Star Wars trailers, like video games, movies, the animated shows, whether it was Visions or like Maul recently. Every prequel or every sequel trailer, every TV spot, even they got me hyped. And I don't know, it's because we've had past seasons of these characters of the show already. That's kind of like that's dwindled my hype, but like it didn't make me feel the way, even with Solo. Like
I was just gonna say, Solo was more hype than this.
Yeah. So for me, it was missing something, and maybe it's because it doesn't have that elevated feel. I don't know, but like I said, I'm still gonna go see it. I probably will have a good time with it.
Yeah. But Kevin,
Yeah.
you've had access to the leaks and what you're saying. So are they hiding stuff? Do you think they're not going to show certain things? Or is this really the best that they've got in terms of look and feel?
The only
and
the thing I know about the leaks, not so much big surprises, but like all the footage you see, I have context for it.
Okay.
That's all. I mean, I don't really want to go in because
of course. It was more just asking, like, is this the feel and the general energy that we're going to get from this movie in this trailer?
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike.
Sorry. Yeah, what they're missing is basically the content. Like, there's no real surprises that you're not seeing, but they're missing the context for the shots that you're seeing. They could have one sentence in the beginning that's like, "Hey, you got to blah 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 to do blah 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 blah," and you would know based on that everything else you're seeing. And I don't want to get too into. I could tell you guys off air because nothing's been confirmed or anything, but from what I hear. And I think it's kind of leaked months and months ago, but how it ties in with Rhoda and stuff like that. Like the trailer, you literally could add 1 10-second line and then a VO under some of the other shots, and it would give context to why you're seeing the shots you're seeing, and that might get people interested in it. So
yeah, fair point.
Have you seen the leaks of the story? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I do not. I have not seen those. No. I've been too much in the DC world right now. James Gunn came out, contradicted my Paradise Lost.
I heard.
I'm dealing with that. James and I are going to get.
I watched Geek Buddies today. I saw that.
James and I are going to get in the rot of the hut pit. We're going to have it out. See who's telling the truth, for God's sake. Anyway, let's move on to this conversation. Kevin, you want to talk about this? I know you're struggling a little bit, but we want to talk about the Seabree stuff going on. You specifically sent us this from Star Wars Tales Untold. This Luke Skywalker.
Frank sent that.
I did send that one.
It's very.
No, Frank sent it. Sorry, Frank.
This
Frank's
is not related to what I want to talk about, but
but there's more AI stuff happening here. Seabreeze is doing more. People are using it more and more for this Star Wars stuff. This is one that Frank sent us, so I watched that thought was interesting. But there was other stuff that Kevin sent us as well. So, Kevin, what is it you want to talk about with the Seabreeze stuff here as it's connected to
the Sea Dream?
Other AI. Sea Dream. Sorry, Sea Dream.
Yeah, Sea Dream. Well, I mean, it's just funny how fast AI moves in like 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we were just talking about it and like showing things from the Beggar's Canyon thing and, us talking about like whether it's good or not. And then you have this famous clip of Brad Pitt fighting Tom Cruise, which anybody can Google, and then that gets the eyeballs of everybody, including Sean Astin of SAG. I think he's the president of SAG, right?
Yeah.
You start this new release came out literally in the last 2 weeks. This is how fast AI moves, and the new model is it must be trained after. I mean, once you watch one clip on Twitter or X. You always get this now. It just floods your feed. It's the algorithm, which is interesting. But I mean, I've seen video of Captain America fighting Spider-Man, Winter Soldier fighting Captain America at WrestleMania. And we're talking photo real, abs real. And not, I mean, because these are quick fighting clips, it's not that you don't have that uncanny valley because you're not getting the weird lips or the talking. Like these are just now prompts where people are typing in Jackie Chan versus Bruce Lee. Or Deadpool fighting Darth Vader, I think I saw. And it has been such a proliferation. I can't talk. Oversaturation of this now, and just James Bond fighting Henry Cavill Superman. But literally, if you see these and you can just seek it out, just type Seed Dream and you could see it. You'll see these videos, and they're just they're incredible. But it does bring up, because I've been very pro AI.
Yeah.
But I do think that now, I think the studios are getting pissed. I think I sent you that link to that article where SAG, I think because it's so easy now, and people, dude, there's Seinfeld episodes where Kramer was on the Epstein list.
God.
But with full on HD quality, it looks like it's a Seinfeld episode. And that's where it starts. I think my love of AI has been like what you say, Rocha, is that people who didn't have full studios can do their own thing, right? I had a script growing up that I can finally make now. And, I'm not going to be taking Brad Pitt's face or Keanu Reeves' face, or for what I'm doing, as far as reskinning some of my KOTOR stuff and making it look more like traditional animation or whatever. Which I'm not trying to say like that's okay, but all the other stuff's not okay. I understand. I've always said I understand the arguments to and for and against AI. But this new thing, it feels like it's Pandora's box that has been opened up so much that it's going to draw the ire of studios and of SAG. And I don't know how something like this gets shut down per se, because I don't know technically how that is. Now I do know that like, you know, you could type back in the day, if you typed in like Mickey Mouse or you try to do stuff, they would have like copyright blocks, like on Mid-Journey. They have really stringent copyright blocks for imaging, and maybe they'll end up doing that for video. And I think they will. And I think that this outrip pouring of all this crazy clips is going to spoil it for those like filmmakers that we saw doing the Beggar's Canyon, which wasn't just typing in a prompt, as we talked about. They were doing prompts and they were editing it, and they had score and sound design, and you could tell that was a labor of love for them because they were just using it as a tool. Whereas now with this Sea Dream, you could type in a prompt and like all of a sudden you have, you know, multi-cut shots of Harry Potter fighting Scarlet Witch. Yes, Google it. You could look it up. Harry Potter fighting Scarlet Witch in a wand battle. And like, I just think that the Pandora's box, where are we going to be 2 weeks from now? I know it's been this mini section on our show, which is kind of interesting. Where are we going to be 2 weeks from now?
Yeah, because you're right. Sean Astin came out, Frank, with a very strong statement, and the SAG-AFTRA union came out, called it blatant infringement, and said that SAG-AFTRA stands with studios in condemning the blatant infringement enabled by ByteDance's new AI video model, Seedance 2.0. It disregards law, ethics, industry standards, and basic principles of consent. Disney sent a cease and desist letter to ByteDance on Friday, which Axios printed as well, called it ByteDance's virtual smash and grab of Disney's IP is willful, pervasive, and totally unacceptable. And even the Human Artistry Campaign, a coalition of artist rights, got involved with this and spoke out against the AI model. So yes, there are people using it and trying to create this stuff, and they're posting it, and everyone's saying, "What? They're going to create films from this." It's going to be. Even McConaughey was quoted recently saying how there's going to be an Oscars category for AI movies and AI actors and AI actors. I say AI, all that kind of stuff. So like, it's certainly moving very quickly, as Kevin is saying. Like in 2 weeks, who knows what it's going to look like. And this feels very, to me, Frank, I don't know how you feel about this, but it feels very similar to me like Napster. Remember Napster started coming out and people were like stealing music and all this kind of stuff, and everyone was going crazy about it, and it was moving so fast. Yeah, there you go. There you go. They have Venom versus or Carnage versus Spider-Man. You see that kind of stuff. It's what they can create, but like, yeah, is it getting?
That's funny. That's funny.
Coffee with Homeland, but is it getting to the point where it's becoming oversaturated and could bury this thing before it even starts or gets?
It's going to quickly become oversaturated. I mean, all this is. I mean, it already is. All it is wet dream fodder. Like, how many times? How many?
I don't know what you're Googling, bro.
I'm talking about these fanboys' wet dreams of putting Captain America versus Superman. Like, how many of those videos are you going to make? And I mean, like, the algorithm will keep pumping it as long as you make them. So, I mean, there is that element to it, and generating views and all of that stuff. So, and ByteDance knows what they're doing with this. I mean, you can't tell me they knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyone who's in the AI generative models, you know, knows that this is going to happen at some point or another, because whether they allow it on like intrinsically within their program, people will find a way to use it to make exactly this stuff. So they have to put in guardrails within their own software, within their own AI models. They're also going to have to be more legislation. I mean, because the current legislation can only go so far with cease and desist and copyright and all that. They're going to have to end up writing different legislation for punishments that will prevent people from taking. And it's honestly, it's mostly, you're not seeing like someone recreating Dances with Wolves. You're not seeing people, you know, this is all superhero sci-fi. You know, major
it's not released worldwide yet. It's only in China. That's what's crazy.
Yeah. So that's what's like under attack here, I guess, in a sense. Also, cool. I don't like seeing like these types of like, okay, I don't.
Yeah.
There are people out there who will definitely love this stuff. There's people who love. I mean, art is subjective across the board, but highbrow, lowbrow, wherever you want to classify it, is people have different tastes all over the spectrum of art. So
Yeah.
there will always be people that are going to gravitate towards this, and there are always going to be people that are going to despise it, and some people in the middle. It's just kind of how it goes over the course of art and human history. So, the other aspect too is they're using it as a way to, I think, channel what they wish the studio would have done. All the comments are like, "This is way better than Disney. This is way better." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And even someone, I think, as a joke, retweeted or posted that scene where Wolverine comes out of the bus in Deadpool and Deadpool Wolverine, right? And it's crappy CGI. And you're like, "Look at the AI," and the guy's like, "Yeah, well, Disney could do it," but it's like, wait, it's kind of like the same thing, guys. Like it's like, what are we doing? You're arguing against yourself, anyways.
Yeah,
it's only a matter of time before the oversaturation catches up and the legislation, and people will get punished. Maybe, I doubt not the people in charge will get prosecuted. It's the people like you and me who pump out a 20-minute film that will get the hammer thrown down on them. It won't be some other large corporation that has to deal with the ramifications. But I digress. So,
well, it all depends on how this, it all depends on how big it gets, right? Because I mean, that's when the studios come in and try to negotiate, right? That's what Disney spent, like what, 1.4 billion in the AI company, so that they could officially license their certain characters to be used for AI stuff, and with restrictions, like it can't be used in a sexual way or drug use or anything like that. So there's no Winnie the Pooh, blood and honey here. They're trying to make it really clear that only certain things it can be used for. They're trying to control it.
There goes my Mickey Mouse Breaking Bad idea.
You can call me. Anyway, the thing is, you look at this stuff and you're like, well, where is it going to go? And how much farther is it going to go? But you're right about the fact, you guys are so great to point this out. It's only geek shit, right? It's only nerdy geek shit. Like, I saw it like Jackie Chan versus Jet Li or something like that. But it's mostly just geek shit. No one's going like, let me make a better version of The Godfather Part 3, right? Like, if there is, someone put up like a better ending to Stranger Things from this previous season.
Oh, right.
Which is like 2.5 minutes. I thought was interesting. But again, it's just the geek shit. So the question becomes like, how much farther out is this going to go before it starts to contract? How are these cease and desist letters going to go and affect this stuff? And really at the end, just like everything that's going on in our world, who are the billionaires that are in charge of this stuff and invested in it? And how are they going to, please certain people or grease the wheels, so to speak, so that they can keep their project going, so they can make money off of it? So whatever issues, infringement, and all of that may have, if you've got a person in power and you're willing to pay them off and they're willing to look the other way so you can make billions off your AI model, guess what's going to happen? And so I think there's a fight that's happening for sure between the creative community and the AI community. But if the AI community pays the right people off, the creative community is going to become smaller and smaller, because the people they're trying to appeal to are the regulars, the casuals, and they're not necessarily going to be that crazy about trying to protect creative infringement or whatever. Am I being entertained? That's really what they're going to fall back on. And I don't know. We're getting closer and closer to that. You know
what I thought of these videos as well is like, this is a pretty good previs type of tool. Like if you typed in something, I could see someone using it as like a previs tool. But also you see some of these videos and just awful from a filmmaking standpoint. What's going to be interesting is that some people will try and learn these like filmmaking techniques to use these AI models and stuff to make feature-length films. And it's like, they're going to learn all this knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, you could have just applied this in real life, bro. Like you could have, the amount of money you're spending, you could have got a cheap camera, get your friends together and go shoot whatever, No, I learned all this knowledge.
I think people can cut their teeth this way, and they learn a lot because they're learning about shot composition. This is my point, Kevin. Higgs field, with Higgs field, you can actually pick like depth of field which lens you use.
I know, but what I'm saying is they're going to learn all this stuff. Why not just do it with a real camera, a real light setup, real?
Oh, you got $30,000 lying around to get a RE camera?
Wait, who says it's going to cost that much?
Yeah, but I also think, Kevin, you're leaning as a creator. You're looking at it as like, because you're older than these people that are using it. You're looking at it as, well, they're going to learn about shot. They're going to look about all this stuff. I don't know how many of these people really give a fuck about it. They're going to be like, give me this. Give me this, and it'll create it, right? And so they're not. Are they really going to learn about lighting and shot composition? And especially because if they do one and they don't learn about any of that shit, but it gets like 100 million views and makes all this money, they're not going to be excited to necessarily or motivated necessarily to learn this kind of stuff. Yeah. And look, we see that in Hollywood. Shall I show you the most recent Jurassic World movie? It was dog shit, but it made 800. In my opinion, it
was great.
It made 850 million plus dollars, and I think the writing is terrible. The acting for the most part is pretty terrible. Some of the special effects doesn't work.
Did you say the dad was terrible?
But it's real, like, damn it.
but it's real. But you know, the other night I was watching like 30 minutes of The Flash. It was on TBS or TNT or whatever, and the special effects of Michael Keaton is pretty fucking bad when he's fighting the one of the Kryptonians. Rare, you're like, that looks like bad AI CG. So, like, you know, in a way, the film companies, or the studios rather, have conditioned fans to be okay with bad AI.
Yeah.
Shall I show you the end of Black Panther? That is terrible AI, terrible special effects.
Which part?
AI special effects.
The fight?
And so the first Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther versus Killmonger when they're down in the tunnel. You can see there, they become rubber men. They become rubber men. And you're like, well, if you're okay with that there, why are you not okay with it in AI? And it's like, oh, because it's real people. You know, so it becomes the delineation, I think, is going to become thinner and thinner because younger people are not going to give a shit about that kind of stuff. And
that's a very good outlook on that. Not a good outlook, a bad terrible outlook, but a very smart
prognostication.
Informed opinion of it for sure.
Well, we'll see, but it's all going to come down to. I think it's all going to come down to who can pay off who. That's going to make this all happen. Yeah. I really do, you know, because Hollywood can stand on their soapbox all they want. And Justine Bateman can say everything she fucking wants. But the truth is, at the end of the day, if the right companies are in charge, they'll pay the right people. And this will become much more available to everybody. I mean, hell, I went on there just to try it out. And I just used, 20 credits to create Shakespeare eating an ice cream cone. And it looks I just wanted something safe, you know. And it looks very AI, but it was still kind of cool to see. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be something in, like, let's say 10 years, 5 years, even maybe even sooner? You go on Disney Plus and there's an option. Have Black Panther meet Homer Simpson.
Oh, yeah.
And you hit, you know, like, because at the end of the day, they want to have the control.
Right.
In some form or fashion, right?
Right?
We're the ones that first of all, it is their IP. First of all, it is their IP. Absolutely.
Right, of course.
So
this is
put
how
it on our app.
And have you seen this article? So AMC Theaters has begun screening AI-generated short films at select theaters before trailers with potential plans to expand nationwide. So
wait. When was that tweet, Kevin? Because I've got a follow-up. When was that tweet?
I saw that tweet. I saved that on the 18th.
Okay. Yesterday, AMC came out and said they're not going to do that because of the backlash. So that's how quickly it happened.
2 days.
That's how quickly it happens. Yes. AMC came out yesterday afternoon. They issued a statement on their official Twitter and said, we are not going to do the AI movies now because of the backlash, and people are really upset about this. So this is the battle raging now.
I just hope that the C Dream oversaturation where they're like literally like, I don't think Seinfeld's happy that Jerry Seinfeld's happy that there's episodes with him like talking about the 9/11 Building 7 conspiracy. That's there. He's in the laugh track. Like Kramer saying, like, how do you think the Building 7 just imploded on itself? Like, it's crazy, right? So it's going to spoil it for those filmmakers because let's be honest, we've kind of enjoyed talking about some of these Star Wars centric AI films.
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like
sure.
Showing the creativity and the editing. And, you know, it's just curious with this Pandora's box open if it's going to get shut down for the rest of them, even the ones that have been doing, you know, full on editing.
But what I really want to see is original ideas with these models instead of
They do that.
Instead of redoing what Hollywood's doing, regurgitating the same crap they've been pumping out. What makes you any different from what the studio's doing? Just pumping out the same old stuff they've been doing. Let me see an original.
Well, there is that
idea,
one of the girl driving, right, with the Tesla truck. I'm sure that was making the rounds, and that was basically an original IP, and it was. But the thing is, when they frame it too, someone tweets it, and it's like Hollywood's cooked. This is going to replace studios in 5 years. Like, shut up. No, it's not. Like, I do think that the world will eventually lean towards wanting human. I think that it'll be so indistinguishable between what was AI and what wasn't AI that not indistinguishable per se, but people will seek out and be like, there'll be like almost like a seal, like a seal of approval or something on content will be like 100% human created. And people will seek that out because they'll want that, right?
Yeah, 100% organic.
Yeah.
Let me get my organic movies.
Organic strawberries and an organic Star Wars movie, please.
I want a gluten-free movie, man.
It only works organically if it goes bad in 2 days. The movie goes bad in 2 days.
That's funny.
I didn't even get a chance to watch it. Yeah, there you go. All right, we hit the hour mark. We should get on out of here. I know we were going to talk about Star Wars races, but ran out of time. Maybe for the next show. But thank you all so much for joining us here on this episode of the Jedi Way. And especially big thank you to Kevin, who is, of course, powering through getting over being sick. So thank you, Kevin. Please let people know where they can find you, brother, and see your work that's out there for people to enjoy, your KOTOR stuff.
I have this brand new AI channel. No, I'm kidding. All those videos I showed were me. I did it. No. I'll just say because I'm feeling sick and I kind of need to get out of here. You could find just at Kev Smets. I usually retweet stuff. My Stomaversity channel, if you're dealing with cancer symptoms or anything, and if you ever want to reach out to me, just shoot me a private message on the social medias. I don't know where else to tell you to point in the right direction. Revanmovie.com, I think, goes to all my KOTOR stuff.
There you go. Respect, Kevin. Thank you so much again for powering through, man. Hope you feel better. Frank Janisch, where can people find you, brother? Anything you got going on, my friend?
Not a whole lot, but you can find me at Kev Smets. You can find me University. Check that out. Retweet it, share it, like it, send it to somebody you love, and have a pleasant day.
If you created an AI Kevin Smets talking about stoma, but he's giving all the wrong advice, I think and that'd be an interesting own of Kevin.
Right to jail.
You never have to have backup bags. You should do 50 sit-ups every day. No problem.
Yeah. As someone who is so, I can joke about it because as someone who's had the polyps and all of that stuff, I know what this game is. So I respect what Kevin went through for sure. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you follow social media. But please, the most important thing is please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit a like here on the channel. And if you want to listen to us, sometimes you want to see our pretty faces or re-listen to some of the stuff we talked about here. The Jedi Way is on the John Rocha podcast channel. So please subscribe to that as well. And you can hear everything we got going on there on that podcast channel as well. More to come for that podcast channel, by the way. What's going on? Are you okay there?
Well, it looks like this is a wrestling mic. Someone got beat over the head. It
dented it, yeah.
Yeah, probably hit Frank over the head during Scoundrels Inc. days.
Come on, those were the days. All right, thank you all. Take care of yourselves. Be well, and we'll talk to you next time in a galaxy far, far away here on the Jedi Way. Peace, guys. Peace.